All right, welcome to the second video in this agency accession course. As I mentioned in the last video, this will be the email system setup. So if you haven't watched the first video, which is basically the introduction to all this whole course, go ahead and watch that right now. All right, let's move on. Today's agenda, quite simple actually, just setting up your email system. It will be a little bit of a longer video and you will need to follow along quite a lot because I will basically show you everything, what you need to do and sort of show you the exact step by step. Don't forget to subscribe and follow. Links will be in the description to all my different socials. And basically join the Facebook group for support and also a community. It will be linked down below. Again, share the course because the only way for this course to really grow and get more people in it and get a better community is by you sharing it. It's a free course. I don't run any ads or any promotions to this. So please, if you find valuable, please just go ahead and share the course. And very, very important, if you want to succeed, watch the entire video. Don't skip, don't fast forward. And now let's get right into it. Okay, so welcome. Let's get right into it with the email system setup. So cold email is one of my favorite ways to book appointments. And to make sure your emails actually land in the inbox and not in spam, it's very important to set the emails up in a specific way and also to let them warm up for 2 weeks. So for efficiency reasons, that is why I've decided to include this video this early on in the course. So you can actually go ahead and create this, let the emails warm up for the 2 weeks. And then during that time, you can actually go over the rest of the course. So we can sort of save time, all right? And here we have another document which will basically be the complete setup, SOP and everything. And just want to make a note here. So if you follow the exact resource here that I'll show you in this video, it will show you how to set up the system so you can send out a high volume of emails and still land in inbox. And if you follow the resource exactly and do what I tell you, this will cost you around $560 for a whole year for all the different domains and email accounts. So if you're on a tight budget, you can still follow the resource, just buy fewer domains instead. But of course, this means that you won't be able to send out as many emails. So if you can afford it, I highly recommend that you at least do it the way I show you. And if you don't have any money at all to invest, that's totally fine. But then I recommend that you skip this video for now and continue with the rest of the course. And later in the course, we will go over cold calling, which is a great way to start outreach and can be done basically for free. But also this goes the other way. So if you're also willing to spend more money, feel free to just get even more domains and email accounts so you can send out even more emails and get even better results. So with that out of the way, let's get into the actually SOP. All right, so as it says here, this will be how to set up Loom Mastery. It will make more sense later down the line, but it can be used for basically all the different email sending needs you might have. So as I mentioned before, this is a step-by-step SOP on how to set up an email system that will make sure you can send out a high volume of emails and still land in the inbox. If you want to do this for yourself without me talking and maybe being annoying, I've linked this resource down below, so you can go ahead there and just follow the steps. Or if you prefer to listen to me explaining everything, you can do that as well. All right. So the first step is to buy domains. And first of all, I just want to sort of clarify this for people that might be completely new to cold email. If you're familiar, have some experience, you're probably familiar with this. But so basically when we're sending out cold email, nowadays to get the best deliverability, aka land in the inbox, it's always best if you get professional accounts. And professional accounts are really accounts where you have your own domain. Because as an example, if you go to Gmail and create your free account right now, you will get an email address where you name it, your whatever name you have, and then it will be at gmail.com. That is a free account and that is not a professional account. A professional account is when you name it and then it's at the domain you have.com. So that is what we mean by professional account. And of course, to set this up, we need the domains at first. So that's basically the first step. And in this way, as I mentioned, this specific way, we will set up 14 different cold domains. And what cold domain really means is that you might already have a domain, which is maybe the domain you have to your website, you have maybe your email address right now, which is totally fine, but we don't want to use that one in any form of cold email outreach, because when you're doing outreach with like professional accounts on domains, there is always a risk of like worsening the deliverability over time, because it can be just on an account basis, so that specific accounts get flagged and maybe land in spam more than others, but it can also be on the domain level. So the last thing we want is that your sort of main account gets flagged for spam because you decided to send out a ton of emails from that same domain. So that is the reason we buy other cold domains, and I promise you I want to show you exactly how to do this. So yeah, and for each domain, we will create 3 professional email accounts. So choosing your domain names. So of course, when you get a domain, you need to find a name, and you want to buy domain names that are similar to your main domain. So here's an example for us. So right now, our main domain is accessionagency.com, and examples of domains we have bought are, for example, accessionagencyhq.com, accessionagencyai.com, accessionagencyapp.com. So you can sort of see the trend, and we either just add a short word or something after, which still makes sense, or you can also do it before. It doesn't really matter as long as it's short and still is very, very similar to your main warm domain. And we always recommend to buy .com domains. You can buy others, but just buy .com for simplicity's sake. And yeah, so to purchase these domains, we recommend to use a source called Namecheap, which I'm going to show you what it looks like here. And yeah, it's basically where we get our domains, and also you can also set up the professional account here. Great tool. Explain more of that later. So yeah, and that is basically that. And when setting up all your different email domains and also email accounts, I have made a free resource for you here. You can grab if you go into the link with this whole sort of SOP. So if you just go into this, and as it says here, it's important that you make a copy of this and use yourself. So if you go in here, this is just a template. But basically, if I just move myself, the first page is the dashboard, which we will use later when you have actually created the account. But first of all, we will use the setup. So as you can see here, we already have an example for myself. So what you basically do is that when you've decided the domains and bought all the domains, and since we are getting 3 professional accounts on each, we have created 3 different, there's basically 1 gap between each. You can just keep them separated and it looks better organized. So you put the domain here, you put the name here, which you have sort of named the domain, not the domain, the actual email account. And then you have 3 different names. I'll explain more of this later again. So you just put the name here and the password, and then we've actually created this for you. So this will automatically create the email account for you. So it will take the first name and the name first and add that to the accession, the domain you created, and then just create the account, and we'll save you some time. And yeah, you can also just put the password here that you have, so you can sort of keep everything track of this. All right. So yeah, that is what you will use. So back to actually buying the domains. So yeah, when you get to Namecheap, I recommend just creating an account first. I won't show you how to do that. Hopefully you can figure out that for yourself. But once you have created your account, it's time to get your domains. And yeah, you do this on the first page. So I'll just take an example. So let's say let's say your agency name is exampleagency.com. That is sort of the domain you already have and your main domain. And now, as an example, as I mentioned before, you can get a domain which is called maybe exampleagencyhq.com. You can get one that is called ai.com, app, and maybe for beforehand you can add like get, you can add the, you can add my, just be creative. And when you have decided for the 14 different ones, yeah, you just go ahead and buy them. So if we just take an example for this first one, hq.com, and make a search, we can see that this is free. And also So they have this sort of, what should you call it? Discount basically. So if you use this code here, NewCom, I believe it's 598 or 590, I don't know, but just copy that. But you can just use this for one domain. So yeah, you can go ahead and use that for the first domain you buy. But after that, you need to pay the full price, which is quite cheap. It's $10.28, so it's quite cheap. So yeah, basically just add that to the cart. And like you can feel free to sort of add a bunch of stuff here if you want. I don't recommend it. We don't do it like any of this. Just yeah, add it. I don't recommend to add anything. And when you are done, just yeah, you go to checkout, and yeah, of course you can sort of add multiple domains at once, all the different 14 to make it more efficient. But for simplicity's sake, I would just show you buying one at a time here. Go to checkout, and here we can add the promo code and apply. All right, yeah, I need to log in first. Let me just log in. Now let's try and add it. It might not work. Yeah, so I have already used this for my account, but if you create a new account, yeah, you can use this once. Okay, and I recommend to keep auto renew off because you never know what happens. Let's say this domain end up having bad deliverability in a year, and then you don't want this to auto renew. But if you want to, you can still renew it when the time is in for that. All right. Domain privacy, yeah, just recommend to keep this enabled because it's free. And premium DNS, I don't do any of this. Again, I don't add anything of this. You can go ahead and add the business email here, but I recommend to do it later. And yeah, you basically press confirm order, enter your card details, and just make the payment basically. Again, I won't show you this here. You probably can figure out that for yourself. All right. And again, now when you have bought all your domains, I really recommend that you use this email account tracker. So yeah, like the first domain, you enter 3 here. The second domain, you enter it 3 times here, and just keep going till you have all the domains added. And then when we move on, we're on the buying email account stage. Yeah. And now when you've bought all the 14 domain, it's time to buy professional email accounts on each domain. So this will be exact step by step. And yeah, I will actually remove my face for now because I want to show you multiple stuff. So yeah, unfortunately you won't see me anymore. I hope you are okay with that. So yeah, let's take this here. All right. So yeah, basically everything is listed step by step. So if we just go back and press, as it says, go to email, business email, select the middle option where you get 3 email accounts for 29.88, which is this one right here. And before you go on, it says here, don't forget the coupon, which is this mail deal. So you can just click here to copy that. And then you click get pro. As it says here, use a domain I own with Namecheap. So since you've already bought domains, you just press here, use a domain I own with Namecheap. Then you choose one of your domains. I won't this as of now because I've already added all my different accounts to my domains. But yeah, just choose the first one and remember to keep track which one you added. And then the promo code stuff will add up here. Don't forget to add that as it says, and then check out in the same way. And yeah, repeat this process for all of your domains. I know it will take some time, but you need to do it one by one. If you want to be able to use the promo code on each, you need to do it this way. All right. Now, when you have bought all the different email accounts, it's time to set them up. So when you've bought the account, go to dashboard, which you can find here under account dashboard. Then private email. and then you click on the first one, which you have added to, and click manage. And you scroll down to add mailbox. So if you scroll down, instead, because again, here it already states all of my different accounts, but yeah, so I think it will be here instead of buy mailbox, it will say add mailbox, because you will have 3 that you haven't set up yet. So you click just add mailbox, then it will be a pop-up where you need to sort of name, you'll choose a name for the email account, and then also you choose your password. And yeah, I mentioned this before. I'll go over sort of what I recommend for name-wise. So we recommend choosing a variant of your own name for the 2 additional accounts, or whoever's name that will be handling sales calls, for example. So as you can see here, this is one domain, but we have 3 different accounts. So my name is Alexander Rafstedt, and yeah, I've just decided to make 3 variations out of my name. So the first account is alex.r, because yeah, I'm called Alex at times. Then it's just Alex, and then it's just Alexander. So feel free to do whatever sort of combination. Don't make it too long. Just make it make sense with your name, which just could just make it sound realistic. So yeah. Also, there will be an option in this pop-up where you sort of distribute the storage. I just recommend to distribute 10 gigabytes to each, because yeah, you will have 30 in total. So just give 10 gigabytes to each account. And yeah, again, when you're done, repeat the same process for the second and third accounts, and then all the other domains as well. And don't forget to add all accounts to your email account tracker. So if we go back to this email account tracker here, you can now fill this out more. So let's say, for example, we have bought and we have set up 3 accounts for this domain. So you add a domain here. And as I mentioned, I have Alexander, I have Alex, and I have alex.r. Now, as you can see, on this accounts column, this have already sort of filled out the different names. So that's quite neat, and also add the passwords. Let me just go and remove this. Okay. When you're done, it's time to set up domain forwarding. So when you start sending out cold emails from your cold email accounts, some prospects will look up your domain. And to avoid these prospects, let me just fix my grammar. To avoid this prospect, you're just finding a 404 error page, and we need to forward all the cold domains to your main domain. All right. So again, you go to dashboard in Namecheap, then you press domain list, manage on the domain you want to manage. You go down here to redirect domain, and you add a redirect. So as you can see here, I've already done this, and yeah, for you this will be empty, and you press here add redirect, and then you just simply add the destination you want this domain to redirect to. So as an example, if we now take this domain, if I can copy it, if we search for this one of my cold email domains, this will automatically redirect to my main website, which is this right here. So yeah, it's just better, because if I send out an email from this domain and someone looks it up, it just looks a lot more professional and trustworthy if they actually land on a website, which is ours, instead of just landing, not reaching anywhere. So yeah. Yeah, as I mentioned, add your main domain as a destination URL, and you can also add your Calendly link if you don't have a website yet. So yeah, and this will be explained, I believe, in the next video, so how to set up your Calendly. You probably already have this, but if you're a complete beginner, you might not. Total fine, and you can just go back to this and set it as once you have your Calendly link. Okay, and now private email. The email provider that Namecheap is using is called private email. Now, when you have created all the email accounts, it's time to log into them and set them up properly. And before logging into the accounts, it's important that you send an email to each account from an email address you don't really care about. You can either create a free Gmail account or just use an old one. So This step might sound very, very strange, but trust me, you just need to do this. So, yeah, before we go into this, I'm going to explain what I usually do. So as I mentioned, we need to send one email to all these accounts. So now you should have on this right-hand side, you should have all the different email accounts listed. So the easiest way is to first just log into your email where you want to send to. And remember, this should be an email account that you don't really care about. So as an example, this is just a private account. I have a free email account. And if I were to do this again, I would just basically press compose. I would go here and copy all of these different emails and just copy that, paste it in here to 2, just random subject, random content, and just send. All right, and when you've done that, we can then move on. And again, it might feel very, very weird, but trust me, you need to do this. All right, so go ahead and do that. And when you're done, we can then move on. So now go to privateemail.com as I've linked here. Go there. You can move that here. Yeah, then you enter your email and the password for your first account, which you can find here, very simpler, and copy that, paste it in, copy your password, paste it in, and log in. And yeah, just so you understand, I can just take a random one, log in. Yeah, log in. And now when you actually log into the account, you will now have received one email from the random email that you actually sent before. And what you then do is that you take that email, you sort of take it like this, drag it, and you drag it to spam. I won't do it now, but yeah, just drag it to spam. I know it might sound crazy, but let me just explain the reason for that, because later when we will be adding all of these different accounts to this sort of email sending tool, where we will also warm up the different email accounts. Because for instantly, that is what the tool is called, for instantly to sort of recognize all the different, like these here, the inbox, the spam, and sent and stuff, and they need, for some reason, they need you to actually drag one email into spam. That's just basically how it works. And because otherwise, for some reason, they can't detect the spam folder. So that is basically the reason. Once you've done that for the account, you click your profile pic in the upper right corner. For me, I already have a profile pic, but it will be blank for you. You click that. You click edit personal data. And here you add your first name and your last name. And since you will have sort of 3 combinations on the domain, and you can't add the exact same name for each account. So as you can see here, for this account, I've added Alexander and R. Because at one account, I believe I've added Alexander Rafstedt, my whole name, but I can't add that exact same name because it's on the same domain. So I just Alexander R, and the last one, I just think I wrote Alex Rafstedt. So do something similar. Yeah, edit personal data, add first name, add last name, and add a profile picture. So you just click here and add your profile picture. And then when you're done, you can just exit this and press here again and sign out, and repeat this same process for all the different email accounts you have created. Okay. And now, as I mentioned before, when you go ahead and do that, and when you're done, it's time to connect the different emails. Let me just change this real quick. Right, it's time to connect your email accounts to Instantly. And Instantly is our choice for email sending software. So yeah, you can just enter this link right here. I'm gonna show you what it looks like, and you'll get to this page. And yeah, you can just click start for free, sign up. Again, it won't show you how to do this. It's quite simple. So go ahead and sign up, and when you sign up, you can go ahead and log in. And yeah, as it says, first, after signing up to Instantly, you need to go to settings and choose the hyper growth subscription for $97 per month. So if you go to, let me just find it. No, sorry, it's here. Settings, billing and usage. And here is where you can choose your plan. So It might be tempting to start out with this one, but for the amount of volume we want to send out and sort of the contact we want to upload, just choose this one. It's just worth it, and it's not that much, $97 per month for the amount of value we get. So yeah, as I mentioned, we need this version to be able to connect all the accounts and then send out the amount of emails we'd like. And now that we have created all the email accounts and sign up for Instantly, we need to connect all the accounts to Instantly. So yeah, on the email accounts, which is basically here, this mail icon, you go here, go to add new, which is there in the right upper corner. You press IMAP/SMTP, single account. You can sort of mess around with the bulk import. I haven't really tried it and just haven't really given it any chance really, but I just prefer the single account. I think it's easier. So yeah, press single account. You enter your first and last name. This probably, if you have filled it out before, it probably already will be there as default. And then of course you add the email address. So let me just add whatever. Add the email address, press next. You add the password. Right, so where are we? Yes, enter password, enter IMAP host. So as it says here, the IMAP host is just imap.privateemail.com. So either copy that or just write it. Keep this as it is, and then press next. Then you get to SMTP host, which is smtp.privateemail.com. And then you click submit. And right now this won't work because I've already connected this account. But if you do it, you will connect your first account. And repeat this process until you've added all the different accounts. So go ahead and do that now. Again, it's quite simple if you just use this email account tracker and just copy everything from here that you need. All right. And let me just go back. Yeah, and once you've connected all your different email accounts to Instantly, you want to enable Warmup by clicking on the flame icon and letting the system automatically warm up your email accounts for at least 2 weeks before sending out any emails. So I touched on this a little bit before, and I'm going to explain sort of what Warmup means if you don't really understand what that is. So if we go to this email accounts tab again, here you can see all my different email accounts I've added. And if you take a look to the right, there is this flame right here. And if you have just added your account, this flame will be gray. But if you press that flame, it will be green and means that the warm-up has started. And what warm-up really means is that it's a way to start sending out emails to other emails and sort of integrate with them. So it looks like it's actually real people sitting and writing these emails manually. Because let's say we just created these accounts and started again sending out campaigns. And like usually for email campaigns, you send out a lot more volume than what you get responses, which means that the spam filters can quite quickly pick that up and see that you are just sending out a bunch of emails and not getting that many responses. So you will be quite quickly flagged for spam. But if you do it this way, you will basically let the emails warm up so it looks normal at first. And so I think you get the point of why that is important. And we need to do this at least 2 weeks before sending out any emails. So I recommend to, and yeah, you can actually do this actually here in the dashboard of the email account tracker. So yeah, when you have added everything here, you can just copy all of this. And so if you're on a Mac like me, you press Command C. And then if you want to copy this in here effortlessly, you press Command Shift V, because it will then only copy in the different actual the text, not the sort of formula that is in here. And then you get all the different email accounts. You can then write the date you created the account. You can write the date warm-up started. And then you also know that, all right, so 2 weeks after this date, it's when I can actually launch my campaign. You can also sort of make a reminder if you have actually made the forward or not. And if you type like yes, it will automatically be green. So yeah, it's just quite easy to keep track of that. And also if it's active, because not all email accounts will be active. Some will be like resting, just in case. And you can just make the same that yes or no. It's quite easy to see which ones are active or not. All right. So where were we? Yeah, so go ahead and press this flame on each account to let the warm-up start. And yeah, there are also some settings we want to change. So I want to do exactly like this because it will just mess with my settings, but I'm gonna show you on one account. But how to do these settings for all different accounts is that if you go to the pen icon, which is this one, which says bulk settings, you press that, and then you select all results and then press bulk settings. If you do that, you'll change the settings for every single account. I won't do that right now, and because it will fuck up my current settings. So I'm gonna just instead show you on one of my accounts. So yeah, when you're in the bulk settings, go to settings. For now, you can just leave this at as it is. I think it's default 40. It doesn't really matter until we actually start sending in the campaigns. But what I want you to change is that, yeah, you change the daily warm-up limits to 40. So change this to 40, it will be automatically 20. Keep this at 1. And basically keep everything else except enable read emulation and also enable warm custom tracking domain. Press save, don't forget that. And then you're done with the settings, basically. So yeah, that's basically that for connecting your emails account. That should be done. All right, moving on. Setting up, let me just fix this as well. Setting up custom tracking domain. So it's better to set up your own custom tracking domain compared to using the standard one provided by Instantly. So yeah, I won't explain it. It's just quite simple to just do as I say. All right. So first you go back to Namecheap. So if you do that, go to Namecheap, and as it says, dashboard. We go back to the dashboard. This should actually be a over there, and then you press domain list. Again, manage on the domain you want to manage. Then you go to advanced DNS. When you are here, you will click add new record. You will choose it to be a CNAME record. Host, let me just see. Yeah, enter INST as host. There we go. And enter prox.itrackly.com as value. So prox.itrackly.com. And then you click this green check mark here and it will save. I won't do this right now. I've already done it. But yeah, and repeat this process for all the different domains. And then when you've done that, you go back to Instantly. And you click on the email account. I think it's the easiest if you do this manually for each account. So just take this one for example. Yeah, you go to settings and then you click here. So this will be automatically checked off for you. But you click that and this will pop up. Sorry. Yeah, and then here you enter inst dot whatever domain it is that you are using and .com. So just copy this domain here. So inst.thatdomain.com, and then you click check status. And if everything is correct, a green check mark will appear for both CNAME verified and SSL verified. So let me just try this real quick. Check status. Yeah, so this is active verified. Just keep in mind one thing, because what I've realized is that even though you have added the CNAME record and everything to the DNS settings, usually the first time you try this and check the status, it will verify the CNAME, I believe, but it won't verify the SSL. It would just load and load and load a couple minutes until it just says an error, couldn't verify. And that is just completely normal. What I've found always works is that you first need to sort of try. You need to do this on every single account at first once. You get the error, and then maybe log in the next day and do it again, and then it will work. Because what I think is happening is that when you request it first time, and see that it doesn't work, it will sort of request a new SSL. And then when you give it some time to add everything, then you can check again and the SSL will probably be verified. So if you're having trouble, just remember that and log in maybe tomorrow and try again. And yeah, when you've done this, don't forget to click save and repeat this process for all your email accounts. Okay. Now, setting up DMARC. And here's a quick note. So DKIM should authenticate messages for at least 48 hours before turning on DMARC. And I'll explain what this means. So since you bought the domains and email accounts from Namecheap, DKIM is already correctly set up. So set up DMARC at least 48 hours after the accounts were created. You can still let the accounts warm up instantly without having DMARC set up yet. So you might wonder, what the fuck is DKIM? What the fuck is DMARC? I won't explain. Just trust me on this one. It's quite simple, but it's quite important as well that you set this up. So just do it as I tell you. Honestly, I don't exactly know what it is. I just know that it's important for email deliverability and just makes everything better. So just do it like this way, okay? So again, this should be done 48 hours after you've created the account. So make a quick note in your calendar at least 2 days after you've done this, and then you can add the DMARC records. So what you then do is that you go here to this link, which is, I don't know what it's called, Demarcian or something. You enter your domain. So as an example, no, let's do it like this. Agency.com, start creating. So yeah, you click start creating. You can just click next. So you leave this as it is. You enter your main email account right here. And this is basically where you will receive like updates about the DMARC records on your different domains. So yeah, just enter your main email domain where you want your emails to be sent. Then you click next, 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 next. You leave this as 100. Click create record. Now you go back to Namecheap. Very strange. Get rid of that. All right. Okay, where were we? Go to Namecheap. You go to dashboard again. Go to domain list. Go to manage on the domain you want to manage. Again, advanced DNS. I just realized I was on this page, so didn't really need to do that again, but yeah, whatever. And again, you press add new record. Now it's a TXT record. So you scroll down a bit and choose TXT record. As host, you enter _DMARC, just that, _DMARC. And you then copy the DMARC record from the record creator and paste it in under value. So go back to this, whatever this is. You go to, the first one here. This is what you copy. Just copy that. Go back to Namecheap. I don't know why Loom is acting up, but so. And yeah, as I said, as value, you enter this as the value. And yeah, you paste it in under value. Then save changes. So this checkmark, I won't do this because I've already done it. Repeat this process for all your domains. And yeah, so just repeat that for all the different domains you have. And after connecting your sending accounts to Instantly, and you've done this with the DMARC and everything, you can now check if SPF, DKIM, and DMARC are set up correctly on the test domain setup button. So let me just show you. So you go back to Instantly. You're still here in the email accounts. And if you click this here, test domain setup, you just click that once. Then it will check everything, all the records. And if everything is correct, this green checkmark will pop up and say everything is correct, everything is set up. All right. So if you've done everything correct, this should pop up. And if it doesn't, it will let you know which account is not correct. So you can just go to that one and correct. All right. And yeah, as I mentioned, if everything is done correctly, you will see a confirmation message pop up. So yeah, this was I didn't think it would go. I thought it would be a longer video, but of course, when you do this, there are multiple steps where you actually need to do what I did on multiple different accounts and domains. So of course it will take longer for you. But yeah, that's basically it for this video.